Hoff, the Member of Provincial Parliament for this beautiful riding of Niagara West. I would like to extend my warmest welcome to friends of mine and friends of Niagara's, Premier Ford and Minister Fideli, and to all visitors here today who are at the Clean Works Corporation in Beamsville. I'd also like to recognize my friend and a strong advocate for Lincoln and the Niagara region, Mayor Sandra Easton, as well as all the other mayors and the chair of the region here today. I always look forward to opportunities like this one to host the Premier and his ministers here in Niagara and to introduce them to some of our incredible local residents and innovative businesses. And while I could say a great deal more, I'll now introduce Mark Vanderveen, President and CEO of CleanWorks.
Thank you, P.A. Oosterhoff. And on behalf of the Court family, I'd like to welcome everyone here today. Our company has deep roots in this community and have been in Ontario for over 100 years. CleanWorks was founded by local farmer Paul Moyer and Court Holdings Limited, both companies based right here in Beamsville, Ontario. CleanWorks technology was originally developed out of Moyer's apple products to assist in battling a listeria outbreak. The vision of CleanWorks grew to provide technology to make the food we eat safer, reduce waste, and minimize water usage. CleanWorks now has installations here in Ontario and as far south as California, with produce sold in major grocery stores nationwide. When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, we heard the call to action from Premier Ford's office to flatten the curve. CleanWorks and Pure Life Manufacturing answered the call, along with many others within the Ontario manufacturing sector. CleanWorks' focus was on providing assistance to the frontline healthcare providers. With the support of the Universities of Guelph and McMaster and the teamwork from the Ontario government and the National Research Council, we adapted CleanWorks technology to decontaminate and sterilize personal protective equipment for our healthcare providers. With the science in place and approved by Health Canada, we pivoted the talents of our manufacturing group and started manufacturing medical devices for the frontline healthcare workers here in Ontario. CleanWorks is now servicing over 45 hospitals and EMS units in Ontario and across Canada, including our Armed Forces and National Research Council. With the Ontario Together Fund, we are now able to tool up a new facility in the Niagara region and focus our battle on the COVID pandemic. This investment also allows CleanWorks to pivot our manufacturing, retrain our staff, and bring new employment into the region. This support for CleanWorks and Pure Life Manufacturing will provide a runway far beyond these pandemic times. We'll be able to further develop our technology to reduce the impact of viruses and pathogens in our communities, our schools, our grocery stores, and our places of work. I'd like to thank all the employees at CleanWorks and Niagara Piston, and especially thank Premier Ford, Minister Fideli and his staff, and Ontario Health for supporting this community effort. And now it's my pleasure to invite to the podium the Premier of Ontario, Doug Ford.
Thank you. That's good. Thank you so much. Well, thank you, Mark, for that very kind introduction. CleanWorks is one of thousands of businesses across the province who has heard the call and joined the fight against COVID-19. The team here came up with the Ontario-made solution to a very real challenge facing our frontline heroes. And I'll say more about this in a moment. But first, I want to say how excited I am to be here in beautiful Beamsville, beautiful town, with our All-Star Economic Development Minister, Vic Fideli, and I also want to thank MPP Sam Oosterhoff for welcoming us to this area. Sam's been working incredibly hard these past few months for the people of Niagara West, and I can, trust me folks, I hear it from him all the time. So he's always pushing for Niagara, which is great. And today's announcement is proof that Sam's delivering results for his community. I also want to thank Lincoln Mayor Sandra Easton for being here today as well. And as a matter of fact, all the mayors. Thank you for your leadership through these extraordinary times. Beamsville may be a small community of 11,000 people, but man, they punch way above their weight. This is an agricultural heartland, home to world-class wineries, greenhouses and orchards, and a vibrant tourism sector. I encourage everyone to come down and pay the folks a visit here and support the local businesses here as well. My friends, this is the place to be. They're also the proud home of innovative businesses like CleanWorks. CleanWorks has developed the technology that cleans fruits and vegetables. The technology kills 99.99% pathogens and viruses. That's cleaner than an operating room in a hospital. And when the pandemic hit, and they saw how our frontline heroes, they were in desperate need of PPEs, they got to work. This technology kills 99.99% of viruses on apples, and they knew it could do so much more. Thanks to the resourcefulness and the ingenuity of Paul Moyer, a lifelong apple farmer, they retooled. They rebranded it the Healthcare Mini, and now it can sanitize up to 895 masks an hour, along with other personal protective equipment. This technology is the first of its kind in the world. There's nothing else like this on the market. That's the Ontario spirit, my friends. We have the best and the brightest minds right here in Ontario coming up with these homegrown solutions. And today, I'm proud to announce our government is investing $2 million in CleanWorks through the Ontario Together Fund. This funding will help CleanWorks ramp up the production of these incredible machines and create 19 more jobs in the process. That's an important part. We don't just want to develop this technology for ourselves, we want to build enough to support everyone coast to coast to coast and beyond. We are Canada's workshop right here in Ontario, and I'm excited to hear that CleanWorks is joining the CME Ontario Made program. So everyone who buys one of these machines will know it was proudly made right here in Ontario. And I just heard this morning, almost 800 manufacturers and 75 retailers have already registered for the CME program. That's 2,334 products that will now have the Ontario Made logo. That's 2,334 products that customers will be able to buy knowing they're supporting Ontario jobs and businesses. My friends, we are a manufacturing powerhouse here in Ontario, and this is proof we can do anything, manufacture anything here, right here in Ontario. So the next time you're at the store, look for that logo, support your local businesses and factories, and buy Ontario Made. Thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Now I'll hand it over to Minister Fideli.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Premier, for your ongoing leadership during this unprecedented time. And thank you to CleanWorks Medical for hosting us here today. Ontario's business community has demonstrated the best of the Ontario spirit by stepping up and retooling or ramping up their operations to help us provide personal protective equipment, and by providing important, innovative solutions. Through the Ontario Together portal and the Ontario Together Fund, we have mobilized our province's innovation and manufacturing might. Businesses across our province have continued to introduce new solutions to ensure we are more self-reliant and well-prepared for any future challenges. That's why we're so proud to announce today's investment. As you heard from the Premier, our government is investing $2 million in CleanWorks Medical and Pure Life machinery through the Ontario Together Fund. With Ontario's support, they will scale up the production of the Clean Flow Healthcare Mini to nearly triple its current capacity. This innovative new device will be used to sanitize N95 masks and other PPE for our frontline workers. Their technology is Health Canada approved and can destroy up to 99.99% of pathogens and viruses on surfaces. And it can clean up to 800 N95 masks per hour. This innovative technology was first co-developed in 2015 by Moyer's Apple Products and CleanWorks to disinfect produce to combat the Listeria outbreak. As the COVID pandemic struck, these Ontario innovators realized their technology could be harnessed to help ensure the health and safety of Ontario families and workers. It's this quick thinking and action that is now helping us combat COVID-19. Products like this will ensure that we're ready with critical solutions when and where they're needed, so Ontario remains vigilant and prepared for the future. As the province reopens and we continue on the path of renewal, growth, and economic recovery, each and every one of us has an important role to play in making Stage 3 a success and in keeping one another safe. Our government will continue to work with our world-class innovators and manufacturers and deliver made-in-Ontario solutions to help ensure we can produce our own PPE and are prepared for any future healthcare crisis. By working together, we'll maintain our place as the economic engine and workshop of Canada and ensure we emerge from this pandemic stronger than ever before. Thank you. Apologize. I'd like to introduce the Mayor of Lincoln, Sandra Easton.
Before we begin, I want to acknowledge Jim Bradley, the Chair of Regional Council, Deputy Mayor of the Town of Lincoln, Paul McPherson, and all of the colleague mayors that are here today. Thank you very much for coming to Lincoln. Thank you, Premier Ford and Minister Fideli, for the excellent announcement. And as I stand here listening to the wonderful remarks being made today, I'm reminded that this year, Lincoln is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And while 2020 is certainly an interesting year to celebrate such a milestone, the tenacity of our community in dealing with the global pandemic has been nothing short of amazing. I am proud of the community that I serve. From local citizens lending a hand where necessary to companies such as Cleanworks answering the call to bring ingenuity and determination to solving the PPE challenge that many frontline staff have experienced. No stone was left unturned, and Premier, I heard you, we all heard you. Red tape, get the jobs done, get things moving forward, and I'm happy to say that with the staff we have here in Lincoln, that is exactly what happened. I'm happy to say that Lincoln answered your call to action. Premier Ford, Minister Fideli, and our MPP, Sam, we don't stand on formalities. We thank you all for the wonderful announcement today and your investment in Cleanworks, a local company that we are immensely proud of. Thank you to Mark Vanderveen, to Paul Moyer, the Court family, and the staff at Cleanworks for your innovative solution that will go a long way towards our battle with COVID-19. This process started with an email from Mark to myself and our CAO, Mike Kirkopoulos, on how they could help with the local effort. Lincoln staff immediately began to work closely with Mark and provincial officials to ensure this technological solution was brought forward with minimal red tape, and this has culminated in where we are today. I take pride in knowing that Lincoln has stepped up to the plate and that Cleanworks is certainly hitting a home run, not only for Canada, not only for Ontario and all of Canada, but also the United States and internationally. Premier Ford, I hope you enjoy the Lincoln Peaches. Thank you for visiting Lincoln and Niagara today. You are always welcome to visit here anytime. Thank you all.
Well, thank you so much, Mayor, and I definitely will enjoy the peaches picked right from the Mayor's farm, so thank you. It was very thoughtful of you.
We're going to go to the phone line for questions. Just a reminder, it's one question and one follow-up.
Your first question comes from Alan Benner with St. Catharines Standard. Please go ahead.
Hi, Alan.
Hi, welcome to Niagara.
Thank you.
Just wondered, since I suppose we entered stage 2, we've seen really thousands of people from the GTA congregating at our beaches, Clifton Hill, Niagara on the Lake. Any other year, that would be a great thing. But it's leading to certainly concerns about social distancing, mask wearing, that type of thing. Wondered if you had any advice for our local political leaders on how to cope with that.
Well, I think the local leaders, first of all, are doing an incredible job. They're fabulous. I think I have advice for the people from Toronto and GTA. And by all means, I understand why you come down to a beautiful region, down to Niagara. It's absolutely gorgeous here. And you end up over at Niagara Falls, again, a beautiful area. But folks, you got to practice the golden rule, social distancing. Make sure you have a face covering when you go in lines, be it down on the strip there in Niagara Falls. They briefed me this morning. I saw pictures this morning. And, you know, we've come so far as a province, and everyone has pitched in, you know, right across the board. The technology we see at CleanWorks today is one example, world class. And I always go back to saying we have the brightest people anywhere in the world, and I truly believe that. And here's another example how we can pretty well sanitize anything through the machines. And I really encourage every manufacturer, and we have a lot of manufacturers, especially in the food industry, call CleanWorks and get this piece of equipment, because it's guaranteed sterilization 99.99%. But in going back to your original question, my friend, you know, it's just about consideration, respecting other people. That's really what it comes down to. It's not about lack of advertising. We've spent more money on advertising than the feds have, municipalities have. Everyone knows the rules. Just respect them. That's simple as that. We're leading North America in the lowest cases. They came out with a number of 91 cases again, 19,000 tests yesterday. And again, I say it every newscast. I'll continue saying I play the smallest part in this. It's all the rest of the 14.5 million people. Actually, I better start changing that. It's 14,770,000 people right here in Ontario, and we're growing rapidly. Best place anywhere in the world, bar none. Can't compare us to anyone.
Follow-up?
Best of the best here.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have a follow-up?
Next question.
Oh, next question.
Your next question comes from Rob Ferguson with the Toronto Star. Please go ahead.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Premier. Thanks for taking our questions today. Just wanted to ask, with the pandemic pay, we're still getting sporadic reports that nurses, for example, still aren't getting it. I hear the money has flowed to hospitals, but what's going on? We're coming on like 5 months here.
Yeah, well, it's all out the door at the province. It's in over 2,000 employers, and they have to distribute it. I keep telling the employers, I know there's 2,000 of them. It was a little complicated, but we got you the money. Start dishing it out. Like, these people are in need of it. By the way, no one's going to lose any pay. It's going to be retroactive right from day one. It'll be nice to get a nice check, but still, these people can't wait. You know, people are scraping by right now. It's hard to pay rent, hard to pay a mortgage, hard to put food on the table. Hospitals, get your act together. The ones that have already distributed, I thank you. But there's no reason. This has taken way, way too long. Let's get the money into the people's pockets. That's the reason we put it out there. So thanks for mentioning that, Rob. And I'll make sure we have health follow up with the folks who still have the money and who hasn't distributed. And I'll get our finance department, and we'll get you a list, by the way, Rob, because these people have to be held accountable. If they have the money, they're waiting around, it should be out the door, simple as that. But great question, Rob.
Follow up?
And I'll bring you a couple of peaches for that great question. I got a whole basket of them here.
All right, thank you. Just to change the subject a little bit, I wanted to ask about social bubbles, social circles. I am getting emails from readers wondering when they can be expanded, and I think, as you have mentioned, there's this feeling out there that because we've gone to stage 3, people can relax. So where are we on when the social circles would be able to increase from the current 10 same people?
I know that's with the health table, and it's always coming up, but they want to continue on with the social circles of 10 right now. And I'll ask that question when I get back on the health table. I talk to them almost every day. I'll mention that. But you know something, this pandemic's not over. It's going to continue going. And in my opinion, I could be wrong, I'm no medical professional, but my opinion, this is going till January until we get a vaccine, or hopefully sooner when we get a vaccine. And we have to be on guard constantly. Can't take our eye off the ball for a second when it comes to this, because they'll come back and bite us in the backside like we've never seen before. As soon as we start getting reckless and careless and everyone's out there partying away, you know, that's going to be a big problem. I don't want to, what happened in the U.S. Happen here, and it can happen real quick. So let's just continue on. We've all worked so hard. Everyone's done a great job. So let's just continue on as a strong province.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Mike Crawley with CBC News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Premier Ford. We're hearing from a lot of parents who are concerned about the situation with the return to school plan, your return to school plan, and they're saying that it's not safe, in particular for elementary students, because of the fact that the class sizes are not being reduced, and means that they can't do physical distancing easily. What do you say to those concerns?
Well, first of all, it's not our plan. We went with some of the brightest minds in the world, not even Canada, not even Ontario. The Sick Kids medical team that's advising us, along with CHEO and UHN and our health team, they've come up with a plan. And you know, if your kid is sick, the first thing you want to do is bring them to the doctors. And really sick, you bring them to Sick Kids, world class. So they've come up with a plan. I respect their plan. They're the experts. We aren't the experts. But for the parents that are nervous, I understand. I'm nervous as a premier. I'm going to be losing sleep all the way up through September to make sure these kids are safe. Folks, there's nothing more important to me and all the parents and everyone, even if you don't have kids. The number one concern is to make sure our kids are safe when they go back. There's going to be 2 million kids going back into the system, 160,000 teachers. Absolutely, it's concerning. But we have some of the most stringent rules in the entire country. Sometimes you guys like always mentioning BC. Let's look at BC. Our cohorts are 15. Theirs are anywhere from 60 to 150. You know, they don't even require masks. Alberta doesn't, BC doesn't, and I wish them all the best. We're requiring masks from grade 4 all the way up through high school. We're having the kids in high school go half a day, and then the other half is online. We put $80 million into hiring more staff, more cleaning services. We're the only jurisdiction, any province in the country, that are hiring 500 nurses specifically for schools at $50 million. We're putting $309 million, more than anyone, by far, per capita, in the country. And I won't spare a penny. I'll spend whatever it takes to keep our kids safe. So I think Sick Kids have come up with an incredible plan. I fully understand why the parents are nervous. I'd be nervous if my kids were back in school. They're older now, but still, I fully understand the situation there. And the other thing is, sorry, they don't have to put their kids in school. They can keep them home and do online learning. So it's just, Mike, when I talk to kids out there and I talk to parents, the parents want certainty. They want to try to go back to normal 5 days a week. I get it, and that's what we're going to be doing. And the kids, I've never seen so many kids wanting to get back to school in my entire life. They want to see their friends and try to get back to a normal life themselves. But we're pulling out every stop there is, absolutely everything, to make sure we leave no stone unturned.
Follow up.
On another topic, Premier, some employers of migrant farm workers are restricting the workers' movements. So they're asking them basically to sign documents saying that they will not leave the premises of the farm that they're working on, even if it's to do essential tasks like go to get groceries. How fair of a way is that to be treating these workers?
Well, that's a federal jurisdiction, but I'll make a comment on it anyways. First of all, we've inspected over 160 farms, and I just asked the farmers, very simple, get these guys tested, guys, gals, whoever, test them, simple. Once they get tested, they come out negative, that's great. If they're positive, we're going to take care of them. We're going to pay them. We're going to shelter them. We're going to feed them. So just get them tested, and we're all good. As for requiring someone to stay in the jurisdiction of a farm, that's, again, the federal government. Is it fair? It's only fair if they don't get tested. If they get tested, then go to the grocery store. You're good. You're good to go. But again, it's not for me to say. That's strictly the federal government that puts those requirements in.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Randy Rath with CHDH-TV. Please
Hey,
go ahead.
hey, Randy.
Yeah, hi, Premier. Further to Mike's question, you said earlier this year that you were going to roll out mobile testing for migrant farm workers in Niagara. What's the status of that? Has that happened? Is that happening right now?
Yeah, it is. So we have the mobile testing that we've set up appointments for the farms, and we're going from farm to farm. We also have a testing location that they can come and go in and get tested, and there's another one by the hospital. I want to thank the folks at the hospital in the Windsor-Essex area. You guys are absolute champions. You've come out, you've supported us right at the beginning. We set up the testing area and no one showed up. Now people are coming, so we just need to get through it. You know, we've learned a lot, but just get tested. It's as simple as that. It's a no-brainer in my opinion.
Follow-up?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want to ask you about the murder of Darian Henderson Bellman. She was murdered allegedly by Darnell Reed, who the court let out on bail against the advice of the police. He'd had many violence and firearm offenses beforehand, and he ended up murdering a woman that he had, allegedly, that he had a court order against, a court restraining order against going anywhere near. Is there anything that you can think of that could be done to stop the, as Patrick Brown describes it, revolving door in the justice system, letting serious offenders out on bail?
Well, it's the federal government. That's the problem. I'm getting along extremely well with them. This is not a criticism. It's not against the feds, but guys, you can't keep letting these guys get out and walk the streets. It's up to them to toughen up on the sentences. That's the biggest challenge that we're facing, and not just this case, but you get up in the Toronto GTA. What do we have? 12 shootings. I'd grab those little buggers and throw them in jail, throw the key away, and let them rot in there. They're going to go around and create violence in our neighborhoods where our kids are playing outside, and the families don't feel safe. 12 shootings? You got to be kidding me. Throw these guys in jail, guys, gals, mostly guys. Throw them in jail. Throw away the key. Simple. Teach them a lesson. We're way too soft on crime. We got to toughen up on the sentences. And the police are frustrated too. I talk to the police all the time. They're frustrated. They go out there, put their lives on the line for us. They arrest these guys, and 2 days later, they're bouncing around out on bail. We need to get the judges on tougher sentences, and keep our streets safe. That's what people want. They want a safe community, and they don't want a bunch of gangbangers running around with guns. It's like the Wild West.
Next question.
Your next question comes from Kevin Valliere with Niagara Independent. Please go ahead.
Hi, Kevin.
Hi, Premier. Welcome to Niagara.
Thank you.
My question is this what you hope for in terms of making the best out of a terrible situation? We've got the pandemic, but now you've got different sectors like universities, the private industry, government, all coming together, innovating, creating new products, creating new jobs, and it seems at a much more faster, more rapid pace than if times were normal.
Yeah.
And are you hoping that this type of partnership and innovation obviously can continue when we are back to normal in this province?
That's a fabulous question. You know, I'll give you an example. When I talked to the Minister of Colleges and Universities, a couple of presidents of the colleges and universities, I want to give them all the credit in the world. They said, Doug, when this pandemic hit, what took us 2 weeks to get online would have taken us 10 years through the bureaucracy. And the ingenuity and the creativity of the people here in Ontario, it's absolutely staggering what I've seen. You have two choices as Premier. You get cooped up in the bubble, I call it, down at Queen's Park and listen to a bunch of politicians, blah, 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 blah. Or you get out here with the real people, travel around the province, listen to their concerns. Look at the creativity. This piece of equipment is absolutely amazing. And again, made in Ontario, and I just keep pumping. Let's buy Ontario made. And it's up to all the manufacturers here in Ontario. It's up to the Walmarts, the Loblaws, the Metros, the Sobeys, the Home Depots, the Home Hardwares, all of you listening, and Costco. You have to start buying more made in Ontario. I went to a store, I'm not going to name them, and I saw a wooden paddle. We have more wood than we know what to do with. Well, I'm sure we make paddles, but guess what? The big sticker said, made in the USA. Make no mistake, I love our neighbors. I love the US, but at the end of the day, we need to keep manufacturing here, made in Ontario. And I got to give a shout out. This is another great commercial. If you haven't seen this commercial, pull it up. It's from Nestle Canada, one of the largest world manufacturing companies. And they're saying proudly made in Canada. I love their commercial. So on their boxes, they should be putting Ontario made, because not everyone has seen their commercial. But what a great commercial. I mentioned about Frito-Lay putting on every package. Friends, I can tell you, if people going down the aisle, the patriotism, I've never seen this high in my entire life, and they see, let's use potato chips, they see the Made in Ontario logo or Made in Canada, I don't care what it is, as long as it has the maple leaf, people, and everything being equal, they're buying that. Or if you see something else being made, some widget, be it barbecue, grill, I mentioned the grills, buy Ontario made. I fully understand not everything can be bought here, but a huge chunk of goods, change it 1 in 10, 10%. 10% is $19 billion. That's tens of thousands of jobs kept right here in Ontario. So let's see more commercials from great companies like Nestle and PepsiCo and Frito-Lay, and everyone else step up. And if you can't afford the commercials, put that logo. It doesn't cost anything for you to put that logo on your packaging. Next time you do a run, put it on. It's a massive selling feature for you guys, massive. Your sales will go up as sure as I'm standing here.
Follow-up?
Yeah, just a quick question in terms of how soon can we expect to see the additional, I believe it was approximately 19 jobs come online with this announcement?
Well, I'm going to pass that over to the great Minister of Economic Development, and he can talk about the Ontario Made process as well. Or the boss, one of the two.
Thank you, Premier. The direct answer to your question is January. That's when the 19 positions will be filled by. But I have to say to your earlier question as well, and to this one, this is exactly what Premier Ford was talking about when we first saw this pandemic hit, and the Premier said, we got to start making our personal protective equipment here in Ontario. Never again will we be held hostage to any other country that's holding back personal protective equipment from our front line. And the businesses in Ontario and the people of Ontario, they stood up and they stood proud. That's the spirit that we saw, the Ontario spirit. They decided that they would retool and begin to manufacture personal protective equipment right here in Ontario. The Premier announced a $50 million Ontario Together Fund, and that's how things like this $2 million investment are being made today out of a almost $4 million investment in this facility. The Ontario Together site went up early in the COVID-19 pandemic. We've seen 27,000 people go on that site and register. We've seen more than 18,000 of those turn into sales leads. We've seen the province purchase almost $800 million from that website, all because the Ontario Together is truly together with the people of Ontario and the businesses who have answered the call. So I hope that helps you. Thank you.
Last question.
Your final question comes from Cynthia Mulligan with City News. Please go ahead.
Hi, Cynthia.
Hi, Premier. This question is from my colleague, Faiza Amin. We saw on Thursday Toronto Public Health release some really disturbing data that racialized low-income communities were hardest hit by COVID. So many of these communities have a lot of schools. What is going to be done to protect these schools? I know it's not up to individual school boards. However, as the Premier, what would you like to see happen with these schools, extra measures to protect them? Because it does follow that if there's more in those communities, then it will go into the schools as well.
So there's two options on the table, one for rural areas that don't have a densely populated area, and then there's ones for, be it Toronto or GTA or any other areas that are densely populated, that the rural areas can send their kids to school all day, the high school kids if they want. But I really, Cynthia, truly believe in following the best health experts in the world from Sick Kids. They've put out the guidelines, and just make sure that they follow them. If they feel in these areas. They need more funding, lower cohorts. By all means, we have $80 million sitting there for extra cleaning, extra staff as well. So I'd take advantage of it, and that'd be up to the school boards to do that. But I'd make sure that that place is spick and span. Matter of fact, schools should always be spick and span. It goes without saying, but we have to make sure everything's spick and span.
Follow up?
Thank you, Premier. And I'm hoping you can help me with something that the Associate Medical Officer of Health said on Thursday. I was asking her then why teachers would not be tested proactively to try and quell any outbreaks. And her answer, and I'm quoting, it says, if you're testing a population that doesn't have very much COVID, you'll get false positives almost half the time. The person actually doesn't have COVID, they have something else, they may have nothing, so it will just complicate the picture. This is quite surprising to me that she's saying you get false positives almost half the time in low-risk communities. Can you clarify that? I have reached out to the ministry, and they sent me an answer that, quite frankly, I don't understand.
Well, I can get a direct answer, but I'll never sit here and question, integrity or of either doctor that we have on the health team. They're both phenomenal. They're both doing a great job, and I'll make sure I get back to you on that. But I guess what I'm guessing, what the doctor was saying is, let's focus on high priority areas, being long-term care or people with seniors that are more acceptable to receiving or getting this COVID-19. The kids are a little more resilient. And that's kind of what I heard her say, but I'd never question her judgment. So I'll ask, and I'll be able to get back to you on that. But we have a great health team, and they're doing a great job. So thank you. And I can't wait to visit the rest of the people in Niagara region. Everyone's doing a great job here, and get out there and buy Ontario-made products. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.